So first of all, we should know where the tracheostomy is tracheostomy is performed. So generally the tracheostomy is performed between the second and third tracheal cartilage. So in this picture you can see that in the location of the tracheostomy is between the second and third tracheal cartilages. So the definition of the tracheostomy, so it is a surgical opening in the anterior wall of the trachea just below the larynx. Okay, so here we seen in the previous slide that where the tracheostomy is performed, so it is a surgical opening that is made into the anterior wall of the trachea just below the larynx, or it is an operative procedure that creates a surgical airway in the cervical trachea, in the cervical region. So it is created, surgical airway is created. A tracheostomy may be performed as a permanent and emergency procedure. So depending upon the condition of the patient, so if the patient is improving, then we can do it in the critical care unit, and as the patient improves, we keep the patients on the we remove the tracheostomy and we keep the patients on the patient start taking his own respiration. Or in case of laryngeal cancers and other tracheal stenosis and other conditions, so in that case permanent tracheostomy is needed, especially in case of cancer patient. Permanent tracheostomy is needed, so that time also metal tracheostomy is put there. So let us see the indications of the tracheostomy. So the first and foremost indication is to provide and maintain patent airway. So that is the most important, that to provide and maintain patent airway, because there are conditions in which the patient cannot maintain his airway. Okay, and without airway it is very difficult to maintain the gaseous exchange of the patient. Okay, so respiration and circulation, that is very much important. So if the upper airway is obstructed, so the air cannot move down and it cannot go to the lungs, and from the lungs it cannot move out. So both expiration and inhalation, inspiration and expiration, both the mechanism will be altered. So to protect that, there is the first indication is to provide and maintain patent airway, by which the patient's inspiration and expiration mechanism will be restored. Then second indication is to enable the removal of tracheobronchial secretions, because the patient is unconscious, critically ill, the patient has so many secretions, like in case of COPD. Okay, the patient have very thick secretions. So COPD, bronchitis, okay, tuberculosis. So if the patients are critically ill, and so at that time there are many tracheobronchial secretions. So to enhance those suctioning and to remove them, the tracheostomy is needed. Then third indication is to permit long-term positive pressure ventilation. Okay, because we have to put the patients of the ventilation. So in that case, if we want to put the patient on the ventilator, so to put the patient on the ventilator, we need this tracheostomy for the long-term positive pressure maintenance. And the fourth objective or fourth indication is to improve the patient comfort. Okay. Then next indication is to decrease the work of breathing and increase volume of air entering the lungs. So to decrease the work of breathing, because if the airway is obstructed by the secretions or due to some structural abnormalities, so it is very difficult for the patient to maintain the patency, and the patency will not be maintained and the air will not move in and out. So the work of breathing will be very much disturbed. So to decrease the work of breathing and increase the volume of air entering the lungs. So these are the main indications of the tracheostomy. Next, let us see what are the different types of tracheostomy tubes. So we have the plastic or metal tracheostomy tube, cuffed tracheostomy tube, and fenestrated. So these are three types of tracheostomy tubes are available. So here we can see the plastic tube. Generally we are using in the critical care units the plastic tracheostomy tube. Okay, and if, like I told, in the rare cases like the laryngeal, the patient is suffering with the cancer. So in the laryngeal cancer cases, we need the metal tracheostomy tube. So we have already seen this, the anatomical position of the tracheostomy tube. In the earlier diagram I told that between the tracheostomy is mainly performed between the second and third tracheal cartilage, and here again we can see what are the associated structures situated over there. So above we have the larynx, then thyroid cartilage, then we have the trachea, tracheal cartilage, okay, and in the second and between the second and third tracheal cartilage, the tracheostomy tube is inserted, and then we have below the thyroid glands and the posterior side of the trachea there is the esophagus. So these are the different associated structures. So we should also know that what are the complications associated with the tracheostomy. So some complications are, first we see the immediate complications like hemorrhage, hypoxia, trauma to the recurrent laryngeal nerves, damage to the esophagus, pneumothorax, infection and subcutaneous emphysema. So these are the immediate complications, and we have certain early complications like tube obstruction or displacement, because the patient may be very restless or he may have repeatedly coughing reflex. So by that the tube obstruction or displacement may occur. Then pooling of secretion leading to the aspiration. Sometimes if the suctioning is not properly performed, then there is pooling of secretion and which may lead to the aspiration. Then there is chances of bleeding from the tracheostomy site also. And of course this is a tube which we are inserting, so there is always chance of infection if the care is not properly provided. And there are some late complications also like airway obstruction with the aspiration, damage to the larynx, that is stenosis, tracheal stenosis, tracheomalacia, aspiration and pneumonia, and fistula formation, that is tracheocutaneous or tracheoesophageal fistula. So these are the some complications associated with the tracheostomy. Now we should as a part of nursing we should try to understand that how we can provide care to the patient, what are the different aspects of providing tracheostomy care to the patient. So here are 4 aspects we will see, and the first aspect is the stoma care. So in the stoma care means the tracheostomy tube is placed between the second and third tracheal cartilage and it is inserted into the trachea. So that stoma, the area around the tube, we have to provide the care. So proper care has to be maintained for that to prevent the infection, because in the complications there are more chances to have the infection. So how we will provide this stoma care? We have to wear the sterile gloves, and after that we have to take the gauze piece, or we can take the artery forceps and we can wrap the gauze piece in that, and around we can soak it with the betadine, and around the stoma we can clean that with the betadine. And we have to note down if there are any hard secretions, so that has to be removed out, okay, and any redness or edema or any chance of inflammation, that has to be noted. So remember, the skin surrounding the stoma is very much prone to irritation, so we have to be very careful in providing stoma care, okay, and aseptic technique to be maintained to prevent the infection. So as per the hospital policy, and barrier cream applied to the local skin, and cotton wool should be avoided. So we don't have to use the cotton wool, okay. So generally we are cleaning with the betadine solution. So this is stoma care. And next is the tube care. Tube means the tube which is inserted inside the trachea. So the tube care, how it is provided? So the tube means the tube has to be suctioned. Okay, of course suctioning is the separate procedure. So the tube need to be cleaned. The area should be cleaned with the normal saline, that is double cannula. The inner cannula will need to be removed and to be cleaned. So generally in the metal tracheostomy tube we found that there is outer cannula and there is inner cannula. So in that case we have to, means here also means a sterile procedure we have to adopt, and we have to remove the inner cannula, and the inner cannula we have to soak into the hydrogen peroxide solution, because the means those thick secretions will be there, so that will be loosened. And after that, with the cotton tipped applicator, we have to clean this inner cannula, and after thorough cleaning, we have to put into the normal saline ball. Okay, so we have to clean it with the normal saline. Then after that, we have to suction the outer cannula because if there are secretions, so we have to suction it out. Okay, and after that, we have to replace this inner cannula and lock it. So this is how we can care about the tube, that is the removing, cleaning, replacing the inner cannula. And the next and very important aspect, that is the suctioning. So for suctioning, this is very sterile procedure, and frequently in the critical care we are performing this suctioning because the patients may have repeated secretions, and to prevent the aspiration we have to very vigilantly perform this suctioning. So suctioning should be done. So first of all, we have to understand what are the different indications of suctioning. Okay, so we have to monitor the patient's oxygen saturation. If the oxygen saturation falls, and if the patient visibly we are seeing that secretions are more, so we have to perform the suctioning. So, and we can auscultate also, and we are auscultating the breath sounds, and in that we found that we are having the wheezing or rhonchi sound. So that also indicates the patient needs the airway is not, airway is filled with the secretion, so that secretion has to be sucked out. So before performing the suctioning, we have to provide chest physiotherapy to the patient. So properly we have to provide chest physiotherapy, and the patient has to be nebulized also, because by the nebulization the secretions which have become thick, they will become loose. So first provide the nebulization, and after providing the nebulization, provide the thorough chest physiotherapy. So with the chest physiotherapy and nebulization combinations, the secretions will become loose and they will be easily suctioned. So after providing the nebulization and chest physiotherapy, we have to wear the sterile gloves. Then so far we have discussed about the tracheostomy, different indications, okay, and what are the associated complications, and what are the different aspects of the tracheostomy, and the remaining part we will be seeing in the next class. So thank you for your patience.